This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 2494. Ditch the Financial Gimmicks for a Better Life, Part 2, by Lisa Harrison of MadMoneyMonster.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. Today's post is actually a continuation from yesterday. So if you're new here, it'd be best to listen to yesterday's episode first. But if you're all caught up, let's hear part 2 and continue optimizing your life. Ditch the Financial Gimmicks for a Better Life, Part 2, by Lisa Harrison of MadMoneyMonster.com. Financial gimmick number 4, the latte factor. Yes, this has been discussed ad nauseum by everyone from its creator, David Bach, to basically all the financial bloggers in the world. But hey, let's go there one last time. At the beginning of my financial turnaround, I gave it all up. I embraced frugality to the nth degree and nearly eliminated my weekly date with my husband to our favorite coffee shop to discuss our relationship, our dreams, and life in general. Instead, we started cooking brunch at home and brewing our own coffee concoction on Sunday mornings. For me, I absolutely love getting out of the house, even if it's just for a coffee. It simply invigorates and motivates me to get things done when I'm out and about and in the company of seemingly like-minded individuals. Giving up my lattes was not just a big financial win for me. I'm actually not even a huge fan of coffee unless it's loaded with cream and sugar, hence my love for lattes. Due to my lack of love and non-obsessive coffee consumption, I'm not running to Starbucks every morning to pick up a $5 drink. At most, I enjoy our Sunday morning coffee experience at a local trendy shop, and I enjoy occasionally going through the BK drive-thru for a $1 mocha coffee on my way to work. Last time I checked, that kind of spending wasn't going to send anyone into financial ruin. So this financial gimmick was sent to the chopping block. Nowadays, every Sunday, my husband and I decide if we want to go to said coffee shop or not. If we want to go, we go. If we're not quite feeling it, we make some drinks at home and enjoy it downstairs at our pub table with some background music. Remember, I love the atmosphere, so recreating something that resembles less of what we do every day is super satisfying. Financial gimmick number 5, tiny houses. The first thing I want to say about tiny houses is that I know firsthand what it's like to live in one. I grew up in an 8x50 mobile home with 3 siblings, 2 parents, and a Boston Terrier. And I gotta tell you, I have fond memories of my childhood. However, my memories do not necessarily reflect the reality of how it felt at the time. Although my mom kept it spick and span and organized to a T, we were cramped. Since I was the youngest of the 4 kids, the tiny quarters didn't bother me as much as it did my older sibs. Sadly, my 2 oldest siblings both left the nest at 18 years old without much of a plan other than to get out of that trailer. As I got older and became more aware of my tiny surroundings, I too grew tired of it. I was always embarrassed by our little house and avoided making new friends because I didn't want to go through the hassle and potential judgment of having to tell them where I lived. We lived in that tiny trailer because financially we had to. Not because my parents were chasing early retirement. I often see people choosing to go tiny to chase the early retirement dream, and to each their own if that's what makes them happy. But if living tiny isn't necessary to make financial ends meet, I truly caution anyone considering it, especially with a family. Although my husband and I already live in a smaller home based on today's standards, we've actually discussed mobile home living as an accelerant to financial independence. After much discussion and consideration, our young daughter is totally against it, by the way, we decided the cost savings isn't worth the angst and stress it would cause our little family. And financial gimmick number 6, early retirement. Oh yes, I said it. The idea of striving for an early retirement turned out to be a romanticized concept that is a better idea than it would be a reality for me and my husband. Having a little life experience under my belt has allowed me to watch others from afar. I've seen what happens to older people that run out of money or never had enough to stretch until the finish line in the first place, and it's not pretty. Now, that's not to say it's not a wonderful goal and a fabulous reality for others. the more I dove into the idea of what I really wanted for my life and what actually motivates me, I realized that early retirement isn't it. It just doesn't jive with my personality. For me and my family, I'd rather work a job that I mostly enjoy, continue to save a ton of money, and enjoy my time both now and later. Balance is key to a better life. In the end, financial gimmicks aren't all bad if they motivate you to achieve a goal. I still employ a few myself that work to improve my overall finances and life satisfaction. One of my faves is resisting the urge to eat out and investing the money instead. It's an instant win-win, and it motivates me to say no to that little imaginary money monster telling me to do it. After embarking on this financial independence journey back in 2015, I realized that balance is the key to a rewarding life. Generally, by making smarter choices overall, I don't need to prohibit myself from spending money or engage in extreme deprivation. Allowing myself to live a balanced life means I can buy clothes and go out to eat as long as I'm also investing a healthy chunk for my financial goals. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled Ditch the Financial Gimmicks for a Better Life by Lisa Harrison of MadMoneyMonster.com. Labor strikes, climate change, your beat up office printer. What do they all have in common? Come on, it's all about the money. Economics is everywhere and everything fueling our lives, even where we least expect it. If you're a fan of Optimal Finance Daily and are curious to learn something new and exciting about economics every week, I recommend you listen to the Planet Money podcast from NPR. Planet Money is a different kind of world where the complex economy actually makes sense, where human stories supersede abstract theories. Listeners can learn, laugh, and be entertained. It's econ, down to earth, and Planet Money answers some of life's burning questions, like, will AI take over our jobs? Why are Christmas trees so darn expensive? The Planet Money team lives to tell a good story in around 30 minutes. It's econ for the rest of us. Tune into Planet Money every week for entertaining stories and insights about how money shapes our world, stories that can't be found anywhere else. Listen now to Planet Money from NPR, wherever you get your podcasts. When I first discovered the F.I.R.E movement, I was obsessed with Mr. Money Mustache, and for good reason. Reading that blog was like a refreshing punch in the face, and it led me to get out of 30 grand of debt in 11 months. I had never heard anyone talk about money like this, and it really helped me see the amazing opportunity in front of me if I could just stop spending my money wastefully. Early on, when making financial decisions, I considered things through a mustachian lens, and a big part of my plan was trying to be like Mr. Money Mustache. But as my relationship with money evolved, it led me to develop my own opinions that I'm sure Mr. Money Mustache disagrees with. For example, I'm not into riding bikes, and I don't think it's a requirement to living a healthy and financially responsible life. I also think he'd cringe at my decision to adopt 2 cats and a dog. At a certain point in establishing financial security, I stopped asking myself how I could reduce my spending and increase my income, and I started asking myself how I want to spend my time, who I want to spend it with, and what I want to create in the world. I also quit my corporate career well before reaching financial independence and have adopted a more slow-fi approach. While Mr. Money Mustache has been a huge inspirational figure for me, I've come to understand that I don't want to be like him. I want to be like me. And it's not possible for me to replicate his path anyway. Each of us has a unique set of circumstances, skills, and preferences that we can leverage in different ways to chart our own course. And by attempting to copy someone else's path, we rob ourselves of the joy that comes with finding our own internal sense of direction. And that's another episode of Optimal Finance Daily in the books. I'll be back with more for you tomorrow, so I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.